Welcome to Apex Legends. My name is LastKnownMeal, and today we're gonna be going through the basics of shooting in this game. So, you wanna be like Shroud? Well, tough luck, I wanna be like Shroud too, but Shroud has spent years and years and years of training to get where he is today. And the number one mistake I see people make once they go into a competitive multiplayer game is that they don't learn the basics. Because if you don't know the basics, everything else, that learning curve is going to be a lot harder to master, because every single weapon in this game shoots differently, so it's going to take you time until you learn every single weapon. But luckily Apex does have training grounds. They're not the best. I would rather have real people, by real people I mean real character models here besides these things, but you get what you get. But anyway, this is a really nice training ground to get to know the weapons, because not every weapon shoots the same. If you played CSGO, you might know that every single weapon has a different spray pattern, every single weapon has different recoil, so in this game it's a bit easier to master that, but still every single weapon feels the same. And if you know the basics of every weapon, everything you add on top of that layer by layer is going to be easier for you, and you're going to master this game a lot faster than just going into battle not knowing what you actually do. So in this video we're going to be going through different weapon types, through sensitivity, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to shoot people once you go into battle, because all of these targets are stationary, but once you go into the battle, people are going to start moving left and right, they're going to start sliding, and it's very important to know how to aim and when to shoot. So first things first, before we even start shooting, let's go to settings and let's go to mouse sensitivity and ADS mouse sensitivity multiplier. Obviously, mouse acceleration is always on off. Mouse invert, do I even have to talk about this? Now, my mouse sensitivity is 1.5. I like low sensitivity because I come from CSGO and I never play with high sensitivity or even semi-high sensitivity, and I know some people do enjoy that, I don't. So every single sensitivity is subjective, so my sensitivity is not going to be your sensitivity. It depends on your monitor, your mouse, your keyboard, everything you use is going to ultimately determine which sensitivity and which ADS mouse sensitivity multiplier you use. I use 1.5 and I use 1.0. I use this because I feel most comfortable with this, because I know where my weapon is going to go, how it's going to flow, and when I keep tracking targets, I know how I'm gonna kill them, because I'm always going to aim for the head. See this? If I had a high sensitivity, for example, let's say default, is it 5? Is 5 defaults that you start with? I don't know. Oh my god, it feels so bad. You see this? You can turn, yes, that's all cool, but it's too fast. And if you want to do these micro movements, like for example this, you're not going to, well, never mind that, it doesn't happen that often. But you are going to less likely hit something, especially because you're not going to be fighting on this distance, you're going to be fighting, let's say, on this distance. You see this? My mouse doesn't feel good. I turn too far or I turn too slow. And you don't want to do this. You want to know exactly how much of an arm you're going to move, so that mouse is going to go to where you want it to. So we're going to lower down sensitivity back to 1.5, and as you can see, it feels a lot better now, because I can shoot at everything and, well, ultimately hit everything when I shoot. Now, let's talk about weapons. You have 4 different weapon groups in total that use 4 types of ammo. You have light rounds, which are brown and are marked as brown. Every single weapon you take from this side, for example, you see this whole thing where it says the amount of bullets you have and everything, it's brown, so obviously you're going to pick up light rounds. I recommend really remembering this, because once you're in a fight and once you go, you know, storming through the buildings and you see like, oh my god, this is a weapon, or oh my god, this is ammo, you want to know, okay, this is the ammo you want to choose and not anything else. Because you choose wrong ammo, you're like, shit, I don't have enough ammo to continue my fight. Because it's like the game made it really easy for you. For example, if you don't have a weapon which uses heavy rounds and you dispose of it, it's going to show like this. If you have this sign, that means you don't have a weapon that is going to use this, and obviously if your friend is using heavy rounds, you might as well give it to him, because it's not going to be that useful for you, except if it's the start of the game and you probably are aiming for a weapon from this weapon group. Then I recommend, you know, conserving some ammo, keeping it in your inventory, but not too much, because you also want to be able to have other things in your inventory, especially because you start with 8 slots without backpacks. So your choice of weapons and ammo and equipment has to be precise. What I recommend people do is learn every single weapon. Every single weapon has a different timing, every single weapon feels differently, every single weapon shoots differently. Once you know that, once you know your sensitivity, once you know how every single weapon works, I recommend going here and just taking it slow. For example, let's go to this side, it has more targets. So when pros do it, they do it really fast, but at the same time, they feel comfortable with their mouse, they feel comfortable with their sensitivity, and it kind of becomes natural. You know, this movement is not something I even think about from time to time. It's just something that your muscle memory is keeping a track of, because if your muscle memory remembers like how much you're going to move your mouse when you shoot, of course it's going to be a lot more precise. That's why I always say to people, fine-tune your sensitivity. If you feel at any time that your sensitivity is not good, fine-tune it, because you want to feel comfortable when holding a weapon, when shooting a weapon. It's easy as that. So you start slow, you go to this target and you do this. See, this was a bit slower. And once you go into repetition with every single weapon, so let's go to R99. R99 probably has the fastest fire rate I have ever seen in my life. This weapon is amazing, but it's not that amazing for long range or even mid range. It's amazing for close quarters. So what I do recommend is checking every single weapon to different distance you fire from to see which weapon you feel most comfortable with at one distance. Because I'm not going to use R99 if I'm all the way up and the target is all the way there, because it's not going to be that precise and you're not going to deal that much damage. You see, I hit him once and it dealt like what, 12 damage. It's not that much, but if I, for example, use Wingman, it's going to do 45 damage. So what I recommend doing is changing up distances, using different weapon with different ammo, and just testing it. Go slowly and do this. See what I'm doing? This was slower, because once you get comfortable with a weapon, you'll be able to do it a lot faster. See this? This is something you get after, let's say, 7 days of being in this training ground. Alright, so we went through the basics, through sensitive, through what things you have to do, but how to apply it in combat. Once you familiarize yourself with every single weapon, you start sliding, you start running around this map, because this map really allows you to do most of the stuff. Sadly, you don't have all the abilities, you don't have abilities at all, but it's still extremely useful to fight with. So, for example, I'm going to do a situation. I'm going to slide in, I'm going to see an enemy, hit him, hit him. See? This is a situation. You don't stand still, you start running. And you switch weapons, and you do this. There we go. This was a situation. Obviously, you're not going to hit every single bullet. That's not going to happen, but through repetition, it happens. So, repetition is everything. What I see people doing is they always go to one spot, let's say like this, and they just do this. This can be useful at the beginning once you start learning how weapons work. For example, let's take Hemlock. Hemlock is a burst rifle. People don't like it. I love it. And they don't like it because it's burst. That's not the case, because once you learn the timing of the burst, you can deal so many headshots because this weapon is precise as hell. The first 3 bullets are always going to go into the same position. And if you played CSGO, you know that every single weapon has a different pattern. For example, let me just go here. I'm going to test it right away. So I'm not holding my mouse, I'm just holding left mouse click. See this weapon? It fires really well into one spot because it's burst. If I went to R99, check this out. You see how it goes? Most of these shots, if a target is running, are not going to be hit. They're going to be miss. Because if you don't control your aim, this will happen. And it goes up. So, you see that your weapon is pulling up. So what you do? You pull down. It takes a bit of time to practice, but you want most of these shots to end up in one spot. You don't want this to happen, because if a target is running and you do this, you're probably going to hit the first 3 bullets, and that's not going to be enough to... You're probably going to get half of their armor and they can heal, so you gain nothing. So you want to know how to track your target. And the only way to know how to track your target is to know the spray pattern. So I'm going to do this. You see, most of these shots go into one spot. This is hip fire. Now, obviously, you're not going to fire from the hip. Most of the time, you're going to aim and shoot. If you're like very close, there is no point in doing this. You can just do this, and that's gonna be about it. But every single weapon has a different pattern. I'm going to give you like the my most favorite weapon to practice spread on. It's Devotion. Now, Devotion is a son of a bitch weapon because it can be so deadly if a person locks you on with their aim, because this weapon starts firing slow and then it increases its fire rate. Check this out. You see this? You can deal up to 748 damage to a target. That is more than enough to kill someone. I believe that even with a golden armor, people have about, they have 200 HP, I think. So most of these shots, if they are, if you hit them, you are going to kill someone. That's also good because you can test different damage of every single weapon, because obviously every single weapon has different damage. And no, you cannot select your weapon, because once you drop somewhere, it's gonna be a random loot, so you might as well know how to fire with every single one to get yourself a better weapon and survive. So yeah, let's take a look at this. You deal 17 damage with one hit. 17, 17, 17, 17. If you start hitting more, it's going to increase the damage you do. So it's going to calculate the top damage you did. So for example, you see 340. That was about about half the clip, half the magazine. That's going to be more than enough to kill someone. Okay. And the last tip for today is warm up. How you want to warm up? I recommend going into training grounds 15-20 minutes before you actually start playing Apex every single day. You come here and you train. This will wake up your muscle memory, this will make you ready for the game, and will generally fine-tune your aim than just going straight into combat, because usually that first match is gonna be you missing everything. That happens to me. But what I do, I come here and then I train for, let's say, 15-20 minutes. Sometimes I'm going to spend an hour here just trying out different weapons, how they shoot from various angles I want to shoot from. You see, this is really far away, but it's easy to hit once you get the hang of the sensitivity. So I come here and then I start firing, for example, Wingman. See this? This was a bit slow, but at the same time, I'm really tired while making this video. So you come here to different areas of the map and you start practicing. Usually, if you know how to fire on this distance, you will know how to fire when you're closer. And yeah, bonus thing before we finish things up, grenades. Grenades are really goddamn precise in this game. You see this marker right here? This thing is extremely precise. So if you hit someone in a target like this, you see, bam, really easy to hit. You follow this line, it's going to be exactly where you want it to be. So let's say I want it to land here. You see, it's going to land in that same position. And that is something I also recommend practicing grenades, because grenades can be extremely useful once you go into the game. If you want to flush out your enemy, for example, our enemy is going to be hiding there. I throw a grenade, he's going to come out, I'm going to cut him down with my weapon. So go here every single day and practice. Thank you for watching. This was LastKnownMeal signing out. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to comment down below. I will help you as I can. Keep in mind, I am still learning how to play this game, so my knowledge is not that big, but if I can help you, I will help you. And also, if you enjoyed this video, if I helped you in any way, please don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. And if your friend is having problems with aim, you can always send this video to him. He is going to be grateful because you will be able to win together. Oh yeah, Mozambique, it's a shit weapon, don't take it. That's it, LKM signing out, and stay classy everyone. Bye bye.